What's going on?
Hey, TheeEnicole, what's good in the house?
Oh, I can't call it.
You can't call it, huh? You still with the sexy hats, and I still didn't get my hat yet. I can call that.
Oh, I didn't know you wanted a hat.
I told you that about 2-3 podcasts ago.
I'm so sorry.
We'll talk about it later.
How has your day been?
They've been fantastic. This is crazy weather, though. It was 80 degrees here today in Virginia.
80.
Yeah, this is just bananas. I don't understand.
It's been raining here. It's kind of cold.
Oh, rainy and cold.
Yeah, remember yesterday it felt good here.
When I called you a few days ago, you was like, "Oh, it's a summer day."
Yeah,
this weather's bananas. So
that's funny that we're talking about weather and enjoying ourselves because we have a nice little topic today. The Passport Brothers.
The Passport Bros. What's going on with that?
I don't know anything about this really. So I'm going to be a lady today and I'm going to take the passenger seats and I'm going to listen. And then I might come back with some questions or some, ladies, I'm going to hold it down for you. Okay. So we have a special guest today. He's one of my faves. He's on Watchy Watch with me and he is a Ready to Love OG. And unbeknownst to me, he's a passport bro. So let's introduce him. Hey, Ron, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going today?
What's up, Ron?
What's up, brother?
All right, man. TheeEnicole going to kind of step back because she's a lady. so she gonna let us have it.
Yes. I'm here to observe.
Oh my goodness.
And learn a little bit. Maybe I need to learn. Maybe us ladies need to learn something because I hear the men are running away from us.
Ron, you now you're a well-traveled man, good-looking guy. You get around, you got a lot of friends. This passport bro thing is something that's kind of new, hasn't been around that long, but what is it exactly for the people that don't know, and why are guys navigating to this space?
Well, Passport Bros is basically just a travel group, online maybe travel group. It's not as in that a lot of the guys travel together, because what you learn when you travel is everybody travels different, right? But for a form that's organized, like I said, I can go in the search bar. I can type any country pretty much there, and somebody there has got information on where to stay, rules and regulations of that country, what I need passport-wise and visa-wise to get in, money-wise, just different things. So it's a lot of information on it. They talk about real estate. We've talked about businesses. We talked about different things because some guys want to be expats. They want to be digital nomads. They want to leave here in the United States and eventually move over and set shop in another country. So different ways they do that is, like I said, a lot of IT guys, a lot of cybersecurity guys are in the group. Smart men. They got it together that, and say, hey, if I could make the money abroad, the United States, and bring it over to a country where it's not as expensive and things of that nature, my money will go longer. I'll have a better life, more success. Plus, I think a lot of people think that these men are running away from American women, but what they don't understand is a lot of these men are running away from America itself. Because of the black man, we've been waiting for our fair shake here for 400 years, and we know it's not coming. So a lot of them are saying, hey, over there, I don't have to worry about getting pulled over from the police and maybe losing my life that day. I don't have to worry about another brother maybe taking my life over some foolishness or trying to rob me or anything else like that. I don't have to worry about certain things over there. I feel safer. I feel the food is better. I feel it's more clean. The floor is more fresh. I feel it's less racism. I feel I have more opportunity at a better life and mental health. So these are kind of some of the things that they're saying. So it's not necessarily always personal about the ladies. Now, there's some bitter guys in there who literally are sick of American women and Western women and not dealing with that no more. But that's not the majority of the men in there. Like I said, it's made out of different people. But I think the real thing I'm trying to get across is there's a difference between a passport bro and some of this other stuff that gets mixed in with them. And I think it's unfair. Like men that go overseas for sex or sex tourism, they're called mongers. And a monger has its own group. It's their own group for the mongers. They got their own travel group. they do those things, and they go to different places, and they don't care about how nice the beach is and how great the hotel stay is and what the eighth wonders of the world or the sights are there, or moving and getting married and starting a relationship within that culture in that country, learn the language and things of that nature. They're trying to get in for a weekend, do their thing, and get out.
Well, you know, Ron, I'm gonna tell you, man. I at my age, you know, I've never been abroad. I've had a lot of broads, but never been abroad. So I didn't travel in that direction, but I tried to get what you say, TheeEnicole?
I said me either.
Yeah, so but I spoke to my man Savage. We were texting, you know, Fernando from the season that Keena was on, Ready to Love. Yep. Okay. We were texting earlier this week, and he's in
my man. He was just at my house.
he's in Dubai.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So he taking pictures and he chilling because Fernando really travels. This dude gets around.
Yep.
And I wanted him to be on here to discuss this because I want to find out how did the narrative, now you're explaining it in a way I haven't heard it explained before, but somehow the narrative, it grabs onto this black man trying to get away from the black woman because we tired of them, you know, with this masculine energy and in our face and it's independent. They don't need us crap. You know, it grabbed onto that narrative and didn't explain the other stuff that you're talking about. So why do you think it grabbed onto that narrative that makes black women and black men combative toward one another?
Well, I have two theories. One is my conspiracy theory. Okay. Another one is directly towards the group and the women. My conspiracy theory is I've been in this group a long time. Like, we're just a travel group. I've been traveling since I took my first trip to Mexico when I was 19. I've been my first trip to Brazil when I was 23. You're talking about a long time ago. And really the first passport brothers were the military guys. Because I always said for black women, the hardest demographic age for them to date is mid-40s to 50s. And I think it's a shortage of men. That's when they say there's a shortage of men. I say that's where the shortage of men is. So that where's all the men? And every time I travel, I run into the military guys. The men who got good pensions. They got military benefits, a retirement check coming in at age 38 because they started at 18, 20 in the military. They're retired. They're able to get another side job on top of that, stacking money on top of money, and they never came back. So when I go to Asia, when I go to these places, I feel like, man, I feel at home. There's a bunch of black men here that's been here for so long, but they're the older military men. They've been traveling their whole careers and lives through the military, things of that nature. So they've been doing this for a long time. But my conspiracy theory is Passport Brothers had 2,000 members in it. Never heard a peep from it in the media, anything else like that. 5,000 members, never heard anybody talking about it, anything. 8,000 members, same. But you know how it is with where we stay at in the United States. You start to get 15,000, 18,000 black and minority men together with something that has one name. And they're talking, how do I get property in other countries? How do I get businesses over there? They're taking their money they make here. They're not spending it through our system, and they're taking it to other minority countries, Africa, Colombia, Cuba, and spending it over there. Now it becomes a problem, right? So now white people are like, okay, now they got my attention. What's going on? Because anytime you get if I got 15,000 black men buying toothpaste at the same time, it's going to hit somebody's radar in the United States. That's just how they police us here. I mean, it is what it is. What's going on? Was this a gang? And this what it is? Like, you know what I mean? So I think that kind of got the attention. And then just like with our political system, Democratic and Republic, when black men started to look at what being a Republican is and kind of change that a little bit, who was the first people they stuck on us? Black women. Oh, they get our police dogs over there to go police these black men and put them back in line. And then they start with the shame and the insults and the stuff that you see going on there. So my first theory is this got white media's attention first. And now they're seeking the first line of the fifth. It's usually black women that they seek on black men.
And you know what I think about with this, Ron? Because you're absolutely right. And the only thing that really gets their attention is money. You start messing with their money, you got their attention. And it reminds me of, Dr. King. When Dr. King in his later years, he started to become more and more angry. He started to become more and more like Malcolm X. And they actually met once or twice, I believe. And that scared, the masses of white America, okay? But when Dr. King started talking about boycotting Christmas, putting your dollars elsewhere, boycotting Vietnam, when he started talking about those things, he became a true danger to America. As long as he was marching up and down the street, getting hosed down and sicked on by dogs, they were fine with that. But when he started talking about messing with their money, the COINTELPRO and all these different kind of things that were going on, that's what got him assassinated. So this is what the point you're making right now. It kind of ties it all together. For me, that's the first thing I think about, because it makes a lot of sense, Ron. It really does. Because a lot of people are going over to places like Dubai and networking and doing these different kind of things and figuring out how can we live better elsewhere.
Yeah. And it's two coins to each story. So I understand that side of it, but it is people in the group. Like I said, this is a huge group. And nobody has the same thinking. We go at it with each other in this group because nobody has the same ideology of traveling or what's going on or what they're going to do. And it is men in this group that are bitter, like I said, and have been jaded by women in the United States. And we tell them, is okay, if you're going to travel, you're going to make your move, you're going to be gone. Black women while doing it. And there's some of them that want to have that I got you moment. I'll be honest, it's a very small part of the group. And we check them when they do. But they want to have that I got you moment or the, oh, look at me now, or that whole, they'll be sorry once they see me married to have a family in here. I was like, why are you still worried? If you're trying to get away for those women that never gave you any attention, they never was able to be submissive anything towards you, and you got to go somewhere else for your happiness, you have every right to do that. But you don't have to reminisce on that or bring that back. You can just go take your win, however way you feel it, and just leave it at that. So we check them. When we get them people doing too much of that in the group, we say, man, are you really happy? Because you don't have to reach back and say, oh, I'm here in this country, and none of the women have no weaves, and none of the women have this, and they ain't overweight, and they ain't having attitudes, and they ain't having that. Great, we understand that, but you don't have to say that. You can just say, I'm over here having a good time.
And if you come from where I come from, I think I spoke about this on an earlier podcast with me and TheeEnicole, is that when I was coming up, black girls in my neighborhood, black women coming up, whatever, they gave me hell. I wasn't good looking enough. I didn't have enough money. I didn't have a car when a lot of other guys my age had a car, so they couldn't ride in the passenger seat and look cute riding down the street. So they gave me hell behind that kind of stuff. And as I started to come into my own and get what I needed to have to get through life, women gravitated toward me, and I was not a nice guy toward them. That was my mode of revenge. Getting back at them that way. So a lot of guys are still bitter from that. Because once it starts there, it kind of takes root in your heart, in your mind, and you live with that unless you get some kind of help to get that out of you.
Big time. Because I love dating the United States. I would never date anywhere else. This is where my legacy is at. This is where I know the language, I understand the culture. I'm here. I want to marry here. I don't want to marry nowhere else. Where if I have a kid, that kid's gonna become that culture. I know I want my roots here. But a lot of them don't understand that, and they don't put it because, like you said, they're still holding on to what you just said exactly. You know what I mean? I hear it a lot. I try to help them to fight against it. You know what I mean? But the problem is, it's both ways. It works both ways. And what's happening with this is the new phenomenon of Passport Brothers. The women from overseas are starting to lash out at Black American women here.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. Because when the women are trying to assault these guys, they're saying, "Oh, you got to be with a woman that's broke, uneducated, easy, and this and that." And these women are saying, "No, we are not broke. We're not uneducated, and we do got our real hair. We just have less opportunities than you over there, and you guys just have a better currency. Thank your white government. But don't come over here thinking that you that you will be able to survive over here with our same opportunities and money. You're not smarter than us or anything else like that. We're women too." And they are.
Everything's so big. This is my real hair. Why is the hair thing so big?
It's just it's the way they came back with it. I'm not saying that in my own words. These are the words of the women that was capping back, flipping their real hair in front of, you know what I mean? Like, just saying, like, hey, we don't come here dissing us. We're gonna diss you back. Like, we're women too. And they are. If you're a feminist woman that's for women's rights, then you're for women's rights all over the globe, not just the ones that suit you. So I understand it both ways on those sides. So
I just had to stand up for the women who can't grow real hair.
But you know, Ron, TheeEnicole, there is a segment of this where, and I know I'm tired of it. A lot of guys are tired of it. We're tired of the mouthy, the heavily masculine, the in your face, I don't need you, I'm a boss chick, I'm a boss bitch, all this type of woman. And this is pervasive. And we're basically tired of that woman, because you get into a relationship with a woman like that, and they say they want to be in a relationship. Okay, a man gonna be a man. You're not gonna come in and outman a man unless he a real wimp or something. Okay, so when a man comes home, even though both of y'all work, there's nothing sexier to me, Ron, than having your woman bring you some food. I mean, that for me, that's like, I'm home. My woman is
love
feeding
that. Like,
me.
that's one thing with them overseas women, they cook. And they cook 3 meals a day. And I be looking at them struggle meals, and I be like these men are like cheering it on, like in the group. And I'm like, is this food? You know what I mean? To me, it's just like, it's just food, whatever like that. But they are so deprived of some of the more normal things that a woman is supposed to be giving a man. It's like everything a woman over there does is so celebrated. And I'm looking at it like it ain't that big of a deal, but to them, it's that's how deprived they are. And see, this is what a passport brother is. Like, they get misconstrued. These men are not broke. They're able to travel the country and stuff like that. Some of these guys are very highly educated. They're on it. And they're not going over there looking for the model. Most of the women they date overseas look very comparative to the woman they could get in the United States. So this whole thing is, oh, you just think you can get better over there because of your money and stuff like that. They're picking the same women. Looks wise, I'm seeing the pictures that they're posting. I'm like, that guy can get that woman in freaking Alabama. That guy can get that woman in Ohio. She's not.
They have a different demeanor. They have a different demeanor, Ron. That's the thing.
There's something about them. See, most men are going to choose what they're not going to go over their pay grade or over their head and looks. They're going to get what they're comfortable with. So they're dating the same looks, women and looks. They just have a different personality, different demeanor, different culture, different way they treat their man. And that's what they're looking for. They're looking for treatment.
Yeah.
Main thing. They're looking for treatment. And they're willing to pay for it. They know these women are not rich or stuff like that. They're paying bills over there. They're marrying. They're having kids. They're taking care of the kids, the wife. They're having traditional lifestyles over there. They're paying for the whole shebang. It's cheaper because of the currency, but they're still paying for everything.
Right.
And no problem doing it.
Here's my thing, Ron, too, with women over here. being combative and mouthy, because I really don't like a mouthy woman, like just talking crap for the sake of talking, especially in my face. It's very disrespectful. And I'll tell you why it's disrespectful. Because most women, if they're in a relationship with a guy or married to a guy, they expect that man to die for them. You know what I mean? So if you up in your house at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and the window breaks and you hear it or your wife hear it, who you think going to get up? Okay, we don't know who that's coming in the house, fully armed, whatever, 3 or 4 of them, 5 of them, we don't know, but we're expected to get up and die for our family. Okay, so if you expect me to die for you and I ask you to make me a sandwich, you better get up and get it. That's just how I feel about it, because I'm going to lay my life out for you. I'm going to lay everything I got on the line for you, my life, my money, my time, my energy, everything. And I can't get a sandwich, I can't get a steak dinner without, I just came out the kitchen. You should have asked when I was in there. You know, I'm like, are you serious right now? So this is the kind of combativeness that we're dealing with, TheeEnicole. And that's the part that has to stop.
In this culture,
like I don't believe that.
It is culture. If you ask me, and like I said, I date the United States, like I said, 100%. It is easier and a little better treatment over there. And we've gotten, the passport brothers get hate by other guys in the United States, not just women, guys. And they say it is usually the guy over here that's good looking and hard working and stuff like that, and going, oh, you guys you have to go over there. You thinking you doing something. You ain't doing. They're jealous. That's hating. You're mad because he's going over there and getting a better, more cooperative woman than you got over here. You better looking and more successful and working harder. And he gets skipped over that and said, I'm out. I'm going to go do this. And you're trying to shame him just like a woman would, you know, to come back there. So you get men that hate on these guys too. And what I'm saying is, you got to do what you got to do. It's not easy to go overseas, learn a new language, learn a new culture, meet a woman, get your financial established over there, whether it be internet business or starting your own business, retiring over there in another country, getting your visa updated, all the time. These men are doing a lot of stuff to get women that are cooperative. So they're working hard like you would never believe. That's how serious it is. And here's the heartbreaker part of it is they're not coming back. I could tell them tomorrow, oh, black women in the United States are doing much better. They're gone. They're happy over there. They're literally are happy. We get marriage stuff in the group posted every day. Guys with kids over there, happy. You couldn't toy them back here at this point. And what you don't want is you don't want the group to keep growing because it's influencing younger men. And we don't want that cycle to happen. I want marriages in the United States, black marriages and things of that nature in order to keep our legacy and our population going. But some of them guys in that group, most of them, they're gone. It's a better deal. You know what I mean? You got to look at it in some of their situations, I can't even hate on them. It's a better deal for them. If I'm 60 and let's say I had a kid here in the United States, mama kept her from me for the most part. We don't have the best relationship. I don't have a real legacy here. A lot of my brother, you know, whatever like that, died off and things of that nature. It's very expensive to retire here. What's my options in the United States for a better life for my back end? It's not good, but I can go over to Dominican or somewhere and be on the beach, be with other aspects, black men of my age with the same interests, go golfing, have a nice little submissive 40, 45-year-old girlfriend that loves me. You know what I mean? That is catering to their needs. You know, it's just, how can you tell that person not to do that? Like, we've been trying to we got to the point where black women were like, hey, this is how we got here. They were like, hey, we're going to enjoy our lives. We're not going to be the women our grandmothers were. They weren't happy. They told us to not do this and do that. So now black men said, okay, well, you're not going to be the women your grandmother was, and you're not going to sacrifice. Because my granddad sacrificed. My granddad worked 2 jobs to take care of 6 kids. He wasn't happy a day of his life probably, but he knew what he had to do, and that's what he was about. So if you're not going to take any sacrifice of your happiness because you don't want to be like your grandmama, then black men are saying, hey, well, I'm not going to sacrifice my happiness either to take care of a kid as slave. I'm going to take my butt over here to where it's easier and enjoy my life too. I'm going to be on the beach with a submissive woman and drinking a cocktail and relaxing in too. Since you guys don't want to put in the sacrifice, I'm not sacrificing my happiness no more either. And that's how we got here.
Yeah, you spoke about the economics of it. So the guys over there, they got the wives, the family overseas, abroad, and they're happy. You couldn't pay them to come back here. You can't drag them back here, okay? But they have the equal opportunity. They have great opportunity over there. You're saying you're a Native American, you want to stay here, you want to marry here. But if your progress is constantly hindered financially and you can't take care of your family the way you want to because the powers that be keep drawing up obstacles out of their shared hatred and so forth, then what do you do, Ron? Because that's the other side of this thing, because men want to take care of their women. We want to take care of our families and build homes and be the leaders and so forth. And they keep throwing up all kind of obstacles to stop men of color from doing that. Okay. Everywhere you look around, Ron, in recent memory, you always hear it's the first black woman to do this. It's the first black woman to do that. It's the first black woman to do this. You don't hear that about black men. They push black women to the forefront because they're creating the divide.
And we get that, but it's two different subjects because, to be honest, the money's here. It ain't over there. They're not going over there for the money. They're literally going over there for the cooperative woman, or because, it's an easier life. The slower pace. They like the culture over there. They like the food. They like, the scenery and things of that nature. But they're working here. They make the money in the United States. And then you bring it over there. You're not opening up. Hard to open up a business. We got men that got successful businesses over, black men, American men that got successful businesses over there. But that's not the majority. And, we got a lot to have property and things of that nature. But the way they're setting up to retire is they want to take the money they got here saved up and bring it over there where they will be living in a freaking 400 square foot apartment retiring, down here in the hood. They could take that money over there and be living upper middle class lifestyle, because the money is 3, 4, 5 times what it is here.
Yeah, the foreign exchange is great.
Foreign exchange.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So what we're going to do, Ron, at this moment, we're going to get into this chat a little bit. And we're going to see what the chat is saying about this, because, people can get pretty riled up about this because they like, because the whole narrative has been the black guys are going overseas because they think the women over there are better, more submissive, maybe more prettier. Like you said, not as obese because, over here, Lizzo is an idol. Lizzo's a, heavier woman, but, and she got a lot of women that follow her. You know what I mean? Guys are like, listen.
And some men like thick women, but like I said, a lot of the falsities is
look at TheeEnicole.
They're not like they're going over there, and a lot of them are dating black women over there. There's black women in Africa. We travel to Africa a lot. A lot of posts on that. Pastor Brothers is about Africa. A lot of dark Colombians. When I was in Colombia, most people were darker than me. Cuba, all these places where they could find black women. If they like black women, that's what they go for. And a lot of them still love black women. Like I said, I believe that black men's first choice is a black woman, majority 90% of the time. Yeah. I really believe that. So, yeah.
And TheeEnicole, what do you got to say before we get into this chat? You have anything to say? Because you're making all kind of faces. I mentioned Lizzo. You about to blow your top. So what? What do you think?
I have a lot to say. I think that this is beyond weird. Like, I come from a 2-parent home, both full sets of grandparents, both sides. I idolized my grandmother. I come from wives. No disrespect to baby mothers, baby mamas, stepmamas, side pieces. No disrespect to you guys, but I was raised by wives. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that it's not fair to make it seem like the majority of Black women do not know how to be submissive, are combative, like that. I feel like that is the demographic that's pushed to the forefront in the media and things like that. But there are some women who we still know how to be women and let a man be a man. Like, so I don't think that's fair at all.
I agree with that 100%, but you got to look at these guys. These aren't the pre-selected 100% men. These are very smart guys, very educated. Some of them very good looking at things of that nature, but they're not the ones that's going to approach you with the hey, but you know what I mean? That ain't their style or how they are. These are the guys that have really been ignored. And these are the guys that women feel in America feel they don't have to be submissive to 100%. They don't have to give full effort to with things of that nature. And they've been neglected. And they feel it. And instead of them begging or just living their life, they say, you know what, I'm going to do something about it. The world is big. I am a human being, so I'm part of the whole world. Let me open up my options to the whole world and see what it is. And I'm a firm believer, if you're not getting, you can't find a wife in Toledo, Ohio, you need to come down to Houston, or you need to go to Atlanta, or you need to go to DC. You need to get out of there. You need to change locations, or you need to broaden your horizons, things of that nature, guy or girl. So I can't really tell them a human being they can't expand their options.
I did like what you said, because I've said this on many lives I've done before. Like, it's okay to have a preference or to want to try something new, but you don't have to degrade or bash another set of people because you decided to spread your horizons. Like, it's okay. Live your life, do what you want to do, but you don't have to be negative towards the so-called people you're leaving behind, I guess.
Big time. And here's something that I believe in, that I get bashed in the group with all the time, because they try to kick me out for it. Because I'm a firm believer is this. Like, prime example, it's a little spot here in Houston. It's a high-end restaurant spot. And most of it is not a lot of black women that go to this spot. It's mostly classy, women of different nationalities, Caucasian, things of that nature. The men there care about these women because these women are high class and things of that nature. This ain't no trailer park. They don't care about her, overweight. All these women are high end. And if you come in there and you're a black male or something like that, and you start talking to their women, the guys are going to hate on you. I don't get that hate, because when I first went in there, I came in there with the baddest looking sister you can have, they can see. They're all trying to hit on her, the black girl that I'm with. And what it told them was, okay, he can get women in his own race and culture and nationality. He got that down. So if he's over here, he's just really actually has a preference stuff. He's not trying to eat off our women and things of that nature. He literally is okay with dating his women. He can get the top or wherever he wants to date over there. So if he's over here, he's just here, things of that nature. So I believe that if you're going to another person's country, then you need to think about their men too. And if you can't date in your own country, if black women are not submissive to you, what makes you think you're going to come over here and make our women? To me, it's disrespectful. To me, have some clout over there where you're from first, and then venture off and go travel and go talk to other people there. But to me, I say I'm always a believer that you take care of home first.
Yeah, and to defend some of the women here, these women here actually get tired of these guys coming through just to hit or just to smash, pretending they love them, pretend they want to be in a relationship, drop a baby and leave. Okay, next guy come, the woman want to believe in him, she's hanging on to hope, she give him a shot, he drop a baby and leave. Before you know it, she got 4 babies by 3 different daddies, and now she's stigmatized because she was trying to have faith in brothers, and they keep dropping babies and leaving and not living up to their responsibilities. Now she's angry. Now she's bitter because she had to be strong to feed these kids and survive, but now she's stigmatized.
Yeah, but she wasn't picking these guys, though. A lot of those girls pick pre-select men and think their outcome is going to be different. These are different type of men. Like I said, you have to be, like I said, some of these guys in this group, when I'm having conversations and stuff like that, I'm like, this dude's a freaking dork. You know what I mean? Or I'm like, this guy's like this and that. You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about? Like, you know what I mean? But now I have to adjust myself and then get to know him and pull back. And I'll be like, okay, this guy's actually really cool. He actually means well. He's actually very intelligent. He's actually his style ain't that messed up. You know what I mean? I had to readjust my lens as a male to other men in order to be like, okay, no, it really ain't that. They just, you got to see it through a different way. I think women don't see them that way, and they need to, because I'll tell a lot of women, the guys in this group are your husbands. These guys are engineers. Like I said, these guys got good jobs. These guys take care of their kids. These guys want to be in a relationship. They want to be married. They want a legacy. The stuff they talk about is very, futuristic, about saving and generational wealth and things, that the conversation that we have. So these are the men that make husbands, but they've been slept on. I'll be perfectly honest. You got 15,000 guys in this group. A lot of them been slept on, and they've actually been drawn to go overseas to look for a woman that's really going to appreciate them. They want to be celebrated.
And Ron, you really talking about high-end men that are very successful, got these high-paying professions or these great titles that they live with. And I'm seeing, to talk to TheeEnicole for a second, I've known women in their upper 30s, 40s, even 50, who sit around talking about, I gotta have a little thug in my man. My man got to be a little thuggish. I like him rough and all. And haven't you grown up out of that yet? And then they're complaining, he's cheating on me, he hits me. But that's what thugs do. So what are you complaining about? You keep picking these kind of guys, going into certain areas that are less desirable to find men, or going into bars to find men. What do you expect to get out of there?
I do hear what you're saying on that aspect.
My man.
I think that there are some women that do like that, but I also think that there's a group of women who are not fully articulating what they really need, which means I want a man. Like, if my man tells me, be quiet for a minute, I don't want to think about it. Like, you know what? I'm going to be quiet. And in a minute, I'll be back talking. You don't want a man who says that to you, calm, and you feel like, oh, no, you do a little, you know what I'm saying? And become that combative person. You want a man who carries that presence of being a man. And we will submit, some of us.
These are not those guys. Because these guys want to eat. They don't want to have to tell you. They want a girl that already knows to do that. They're not going to tell you. They're not a
servant or a child.
They're not that assertive like that. They don't want to be that. They're sick of the games. They think once you start asking for that, you're playing the game, and then they're already turned off. Women overseas, they're not playing no games. They know when to not be quiet. They know when to do this. Their culture has taught them that. So they don't have to play any games.
They want subservient.
What?
They want subservient.
Yeah, well, they don't have the game or anything like that to tell you, hey, baby, you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? The stuff y'all want to make you tingle. You ain't getting that.
I mean, just in a regular conversation, like being grown, having conversations and situations in life. I mean, if you're in a relationship, sometimes you don't see eye to eye. So you might be like, hold on, give me a minute, I want to think. They want subservient to where you're just quiet, ready to serve. And we would do that if we are in love with a man who's being a man. You know what I mean?
But what does that mean?
It means
providing, you protecting. That's what they do. Now, all this extra stuff you want an extra swag, you want extra boss man, you want extra this and this and that.
I don't think every woman wants that. But I don't think every woman wants that. I think it's preconceived notions on both sides, which communication needs to play a part in. So I would love to see what the comments, what's going on in the comments. And I really hope that some passport brothers come over here and drop down in the comments too, because we would love to have the conversation.
Yeah, but the most part is these men have been telling you, they've been screaming to the top of their lungs what they want. And no woman has listened to or anything. Or they've been saying, we want more natural hair. We want less makeup. We want more in shape. We want more women that are more submissive, more,
I think it's about where they're choosing, though. I wear no makeup. My hair is real. Like, it's about, I'm not obese. Like, I think that it's where you're choosing. Like, for men and women. I think it's both sides. I think it's both sides.
Well, these guys don't have the options here to even choose like that. A lot of these men don't.
So you saying they're rich and ugly?
I don't know. No, what's ugly? Some of these women that call these guys ugly are really and truly, if you look at what the real sexual marketplace is, they look just as good as the women that call them ugly. Like I said, when they're going overseas, they're getting the same women that I believe they can get here off looks. Why?
So I guess I'm just trying to figure out.
Like some of these women ain't 10s talking about these men are ugly, and they really need to check themselves and say, hey, that's an average man. I'm an average woman in the looks department. So I might be a little above average, and that's better because you're supposed to look better than the man. It's Beauty and the Beast. Do you want to be the beast or do you want to be the beauty?
I guess I'm trying to figure out.
If you look as good as your man, you got a problem because he's going to wake up one day and look at you and go, I look just as good as you. I'm going to go explore my options.
I guess what I'm trying to figure out is why is the Black woman so demonized? Because that's just how I felt listening.
Well, it's not, because I told you they're going overseas looking for Black women. So it has nothing to do about the color, it's the culture.
That's what I don't understand, because all women here aren't like that.
I mean, you got to go off the majority. And I'm saying is the men feel like I said, they feel underlooked. Mm-hmm. There's nobody checking for these guys like that, where they don't have a bunch of options over here. They got a lot of options over there. They don't have a bunch of options over here to choose from. And the ones they got, like they said, are not up to their standards of what they want in a woman. Let's just keep it at, let's just say that. And they're not putting any effort to change that. Is the biggest part. We haven't had Black women say, hey, I need to step it up. Hey, I don't want my men going overseas. Oh, I don't want my military men staying over there. I don't want this and that. I want my guys back, because the women over there are like, come on, here, you bring that money over here, bring that, this and that. Y'all look better than the guys we got over here.
Well, women, if you haven't heard that, please keep watching this channel as we continue to tell you to step it up as we normally do. So I want to see what's going on in the comments. Ron, thank you so much for coming, because I do think that you make some excellent points, because I say this on a regular basis. Alex can attest to that. I preach over here about women stepping up, doing better, holding each other accountable, us as people, period, the men and the women of color, we need to do better. We need to respect each other more, get along, converse, understand each other. So I think you made a lot of good points.
It has to be natural too. You can't just be doing it to get something.
No.
Naturally a pleasant person. You know what I mean? It just is what it is. They're naturally over there. You have women over there that literally, they're just happier. They seem just happier. When I'm over there and I see a woman and she's just at the beach, the same beach she grew up on, and been there probably a million times, and just happy to be there, gets in nature. Broke is a joke. Girl might have 2 nickels or 2 coconuts to rub together, but just overall happy. And I think the stress, the hustle, the bustle, women here got to work, they're doing this and this and that. And I think a lot of it just takes a toll on just their overall happiness and pleasantness. And you can kind of see that sometimes. I mean, it's competitive in the United States, and it puts a troll on everybody. And I think that's why, like I said, some of these guys are not running away from the women per se. They're running away from this country, the matrix. That's what we call it.
I could agree with that too.
But women, they travel too. They're in travel groups. And when they go overseas, they in these different traveling, they act a fool. We've seen it. We know what goes on in the Essence Festival. We know what goes on in Miami and Dubai. We've seen all this. Jamaica. We've seen all this. So I guess saying that my final thoughts is the group is not a group of a gang. It's not a one ideology. Everybody in the groups is different. They got different views on their traveling. They got different views on women and things of that nature. If you got a problem with a passport brother, you have a problem with an individual. You don't have a problem with the group, because the group, majority of guys of the group are good guys, educated, just want to travel. which has nothing to do with you personally. Now, if somebody is trying to side diss a black woman, things like that, like I said, 9 times out of 10, we check them. But if we don't, and they say it to your face, something like that, you check that individual. But don't put that on these brothers that's just trying to, get a passport and travel and get their lives together and get their mental health together, because that's not fair.
Yeah, and before we get into the chat, just to real quick off Ron, when Ron mentioned conspiracy theory early on in the podcast, I just want to say that, I spoke about this before. Everybody's heard me speak about it, but the women's movement of the 1970s really destroyed the black family and created that combativeness and that divisiveness between black women and black men. And it was intentional and it worked. So we have a lot of healing to do in that area to understand that we were bamboozled and hoodwinked and all that good stuff, because what the women's movement of the 1970s, white women convinced black women that their problems were the same. And their problems are not the same. Because when the marches were over and the white women and everybody put their bras back on, they were burning their bras and all kind of craziness, the white women went back home to a husband in the suburbs, kids, nice house, cars, and black women went back to the hood until the next march. So the problems were not the same, but they convinced them that their problems weren't the same. So white women got husbands and black women don't. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to piggyback off you because they weren't just attacking the black women. I just recently saw a clip where they were going into schools, teaching the little black girls that you don't need a man to help raise your child. Like, we have to go back and unlearn all of these things that have been drilled into us generationally, like on both sides, like, and stop pointing the finger when we're speaking on the men and the black man and what he's going through. Let's listen. There's no need for, but what about me and we'll get to that. Like, and then vice versa. Like, let's actually hear each other to understand, not listen to each other to respond, because it's a lot of work to be done. If women, if you want better men, if you want to be treated better, there are some things that we as women need to do and handle and step up our game. Men, same thing, but we have to talk to each other and understand each other to even get there.
And it's a lot. Like I said, these are not, been doing a lot of talking, but these are not my personal views at all.
Yeah, right.
I'm trying to get 15,000 men, because I'm in the group of Herald Accounts, and try to get all of their viewpoints and frustrations out, speaking for them in general. So these conversations, the words are coming from the men. If you
We'd love to have them drop down in the comments.
Like, he's speaking for us. I'm not speaking for myself. I have different, you know what I mean? My problems are different. But the fact of the matter is, I'm voicing some of the concerns that I hear daily for these men who are not bad men at the end of the day. They call them incels. You heard that word incel is a new one. Mm-hmm. Have you heard of it?
Yeah. I've heard it. Yep.
Yeah. That's been the new spread. Like, it's always a new title word for these guys.
I haven't heard this.
Yeah, you look it up. It actually has a dictionary definition on it. And it's like a man that can't date women and but goes, and it's weird. I didn't know it had an actual definition, but this is the new things that they're calling these men. And I'm like, ugh.
They're constantly making up words.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So incels is, a member of an online community of young men who consider themselves unable to attract women sexually, typically associated with views that are hostile towards women. Yeah, that's what it means. So that's what they're calling the majority of passport brothers. And like I said, a lot of these men could get women, and if they really wanted to try in America and stuff like that, they date in America. They can say, hey, it's expensive to date over there. I'm spending all this money on dates and I'm not getting anything out of it coming my way. If I have a baby, in the United States, I might get hit with child support. I might not be able to see my kid or things of that nature. If I get married over there, I'm gonna lose half my stuff in a divorce. You don't have to worry about none of that overseas. It ain't no child support there. They're not taking half your stuff in a divorce. your dollar goes a long way for dates, and these women don't want to go on expensive dates and crazy stuff like that. So some of the things that they deal with on a daily basis, even the men who could really date well in the United States, is things over there they don't have to worry about.
Well, thanks for coming by and explaining some things to us and bringing it on down. We're going to see what they have to say in the comments. Well, the chat is jumping, so
this chat's on fire, and we gotta address some of this stuff in this chat.
Yes, and lucky for you guys, our buddy Opal is here as well. Hey, Ron.
Hey, how's it going?
So we got a lot to dive into because the comments, they came in hot today. We also are going to open the floor one at a time because we don't want it to get hectic. We do want to have a conversation that means something. We don't want a whole bunch of back and forth, and we don't want any disrespect. We value everybody's opinion. So I'm getting ready to drop the link, and I will let you guys up one at a time. If I don't know you already, I do need you to show me your face backstage. You don't necessarily have to be on camera when you get on, but you do have to show me your face backstage so I know that we're not playing no games, because I will get you up out of here, okay? So let me drop the link.
Nicole ain't playing. But some stuff came up in the chat that I didn't expect to see. Things like, the dark skin, light skin thing. You're real beautiful for a dark skinned girl. These kind of things that also cause divisiveness and have been doing it, for decades, for just about a century. I mean, even longer than that. It goes back to the house Negro and the field Negro kind of thing. I mean, and it's still pervasive today. It just goes to show you how long propaganda can last and how long it keeps us sick and mentally in bondage. You know what I mean? Do we still talking about this, Ron, in 2023?
About colorism?
Yeah, I see beautiful dark-skinned women, beautiful light-skinned women every day. So why would any particular shade think they're more beautiful or less beautiful? I don't understand that. And at this point, we should be way past that, bro.
Yeah, I agree. It comes up, though. It does. I mean, we have to be realistic about it. I know personally, and it's not just a man. I know women that are just as colorism as any man I ever met. That would even judge other men for being with a woman that's too dark and things of that nature. It's crazy.
Yeah, but think about how we've been fed. You know what I'm saying? Angel food cake is white, devil's food cake is black. When you're in the darkness, you're bad. When you're in the light, you're smart. And intelligent. All these different kind of things that feed into these stereotypes and create these narratives, and it just presents itself in the dating game as well.
I mean, it starts young though. I remember I had two cousins, and one of them came out extremely light-skinned, another one came out extremely dark-skinned, and for some reason the light-skinned one was known as the pretty child. That's just kind of how it was.
Oh, she got the good hair.
Yeah, we had to teach the other one that she was just as pretty as their sisters, just as pretty as the other one. So,
right,
two different dads, but still, it was like he was, and it wasn't from us as a family. It was from other people. Like I said, a lot of other women outside giving her the compliment and not giving it to the other kid, even though they're right next to each other, and things like that.
Right, and Aisha's in the chat. She's saying, the old brown paper bag test. That's the old test where if you were darker than a brown paper bag, you couldn't get into certain clubs. Like there's old Jack and Jill Club, which is elite black people, high end, upper echelon of black society. And if you were darker than a brown paper bag, you couldn't get in. You and your kids couldn't get in. So we've been experiencing this colorism for a long, long time amongst ourselves. And it was created by massa. We know where it come from. We gotta stop. We gotta stop feeding into that.
Here's the thing, though, because sticking on the topic that's tonight, which is the passport bros, I feel like we need to start addressing things on an individual level and stop grouping a whole bunch of people together. Because just because you run across this black woman or this black man and they are a certain way doesn't mean everybody's going to be that, because just like Ron had pointed out, the people, they going overseas and it's many hues of brown over there. So like we need to stop grouping people. And I heard Brian earlier, read him, he was saying we need to stop categorizing and the stereotype, like that got to be done away with at this point, because everybody's their own individual. Like, okay, we understand that the brother that was on the corner hurt your feelings, but all black men are not this way. I understand that your baby mama really broke your heart, but you know what I'm saying? Like, all the light-skinned girls are not this way. Like, we got to start healing from our trauma as to not keep being triggered by people who are of the same demographic, because it's simply not fair and you missing out on opportunities.
Stop dealing with brothers on the corner.
I was just using that as the example of, a black man or a black woman. We got a guest up here, y'all. Welcome, Brian.
Hey.
Hey. You was really talking your ish in the comments. Break it down for us.
Listen, I just have a more outside looking in opinion, because I don't necessarily look at it from a men and women's perspective. I more so look at it from a people and like a universal action perspective. Mm-hmm. So I feel like we're all kind of caught up in these like age old stereotypical monoliths that we place men and women into. And I think that we need to be kind of focusing more so on unlearning those habits and then focusing on what we actually need as people. I feel like there was kind of a lot of like, well, men need to step up and do this, women need to step up and do that. But then it's like, are we actually manifesting those people in our lives by being the change that we want to see? Are we being our best selves at all times? What is it that we're out here chasing that once we get it, we're like, oh, that's not what we really wanted? Like, I feel like people put a lot of focus on the extrovert stuff, like the looks and the this and the that and the what he makes and this, that, and the third. And it's like, at the end of the day, all of those things can be great and you still not be compatible. Y'all still not be happy. Y'all still not be able to, work out well with each other. So I feel like people need to rearrange what they actually want from relationships and from their prospective partners, and then also figure out how that's going to co-align with their personal growth. I feel like people just want people for aesthetics purposes and not necessarily for the compatibility of building relationships. Like I said something before about, we need to put more focus on teamwork versus leadership. Like, if women just expect men to step up and take control, then why are you getting mad when he expects you to be submissive? Why do men still want women to be submissive but want women to have their own? Like, y'all gotta pick a lane and stick to it.
You know what's interesting? Brian, that I saw Brian. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's spelled funny.
I saw I saw a statistic recently that said, women are mainly the ones pushing for marriage. Men don't push for marriage as much as women push for marriage. Yet 69-70% of women are the ones filing for these divorces. Mm-hmm. And it's like, what you pushing for marriage so hard for if you're going to turn around in a few years and want to get a divorce? Nobody gets married and say, till divorce do us part. Nobody says that.
That's very true. But I also think that if you're not putting the right type of effort or the right type of focus into the person that you're marrying, then you're not going to end up with a spouse that you're happy with. If you just married the man because he fine and he got money, then like, how compatible are you going to be 20, 30 years down the road? Like, do I think that you should get married to get divorced? No, but I do think that divorce is there for the people who make stupid decisions and don't focus on the right things when they're getting married. Like, I don't think people should stay in relationships that genuinely aren't cohesive just because you found out at the wrong time later on that you got with the wrong person. I feel like that should be a learning lesson, but you should take that L, file that divorce, and then figure that out within yourself. So the next time you actually get married and stay married. Do you get what I mean?
I agree with you because I want to take that and put it on the aspect of the group, right? And this is not bashing the group because, I feel everybody is live your life. But I feel like some of the guys in the group, it's like you have problems dating over here, so you're running over there. And that doesn't mean that that's going to change anything because we talk about how other cultures, such as Latina women, they're just as spicy. You know what I'm saying? Like other cultures, their women have been respected, so they own certain power. I don't feel like just because you leave America, you're going to just find this docile woman that's going to whatever you wish her type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got to work on yourself regardless of who you get with.
Agree, sis. That's like the ladies who say all men ain't nothing, so then they turn to lesbianism when they know they really wasn't attracted to women in that way. It's like,
oh, don't get me started.
That's not gonna work. That's not.
Oh, please don't get me started on that. That is a real button.
But yes, though.
But you are so right. You are so right because
it's like, real. Girl, that's real.
It's true. Like it's the thing with the Dominican women and stuff like that. The guys over there are kind of finding out that they don't play. They are literally
women curse in every language. Women will curse you Can we curse on here? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Women will curse you the fuck out in every language. So I don't understand why they think that there's not, like, folks get mad in every country. Folks get pissed off in every country. Women don't deal with bullshit in every country. So what makes you think you gonna go to Brazil and get Mary Poppins? You may, but you could also go to Spelman and get Mary Poppins.
I'll tell you this though, it's a lot of successful overseas marriages in that group. And I'm talking about 14 years, 18 years, 21 years, happy, 4 kids, guys saying they still happy. So
but those women are also taught like you need to submit and be quiet when you're getting beat up every day.
They're not getting beat up. They're treating these women like queens.
But what I'm saying is, go ahead.
Sorry. So my question is, do you attribute the success to the marriage to it strictly being an intercontinental marriage, or do you think that the people in these other continents prioritize what they look for in relationships differently than Americans? So when they get tired of the American bullshit and they go over here, they prioritize what they want differently, so it's more conducive to what I actually want. And they just aren't taking the time to find it in American partners?
Well, they have a culture. We don't. What's Black American culture? We don't have one. So they've been taught how to treat a man and how to do certain things, and they don't know anything else. They don't break that. So therefore, that's why the men don't want to bring the women back to America, because then they learn this toxic, weird American culture that we have, and it throws everything off.
But that's what I can't agree with, because I was definitely taught how to treat a man and how to be a woman. Go ahead, sis.
Most part of places even have a man in the household. So let's not act like that's normal.
Right, like I'm being submissive and
go ahead,
cultural, like I'm a church finger in the air. Quiet.
I said, go ahead. This E over here. Now, come on. I said.
So this one, I'm gonna type a paragraph, right? I'm gonna speak a paragraph. I want to go back and touch on the initial point that Bearded Buff Run made. We have to also include that in America, there has been and continues to be an agenda to separate us. Okay. So you have to factor that in. And then you have to, touching on E's point, you have to stop painting with such a broad brush, because I know several brown American marriages that have lasted since before I was born, and they're still in love today. And it's a polar relationship. The man is the masculine energy, the woman is the feminine energy, and they're partners, and it works, so the broad brush, the only thing we should be painting with a broad brush is to understand that in order to seek a partner, in order to find happiness in anybody else, you absolutely have to know who you are, what your flaws are, what your strong suits are, what you're compatible with, the things that you want to do. That's where that equally yoked comes into play. And then you do have to look at the past and see what failed, such as in America, our children go to school to learn something different than other countries. You know, in other countries, they teach their children the origins of languages and words and how to be engineers. In America, our children aren't taught that culturally. In other cultures, once the body starts to be attracted to the opposite sex, they're pairing them up. They're arranging them. They're not telling them wait until you finish college, ignore your human nature until then. They've groomed their children to be husbands and wives, business owners, developers, engineers. You understand? So when you know better, you do better, right?
And
So
you know what
then
I'm
you
saying?
Hold
You know what
on
I'm
one
thankful for,
second.
Madam Oracle?
Hold on one second. Because we are having church tonight, and I believe everyone has their cash apps under their image. I'm gonna need y'all to pass the collection plate around because this is a great conversation. Go ahead, Alex. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say to Madam Oracle, I'm just thankful that she held up the right finger.
I love
the way,
that.
the way this conversation's going, I don't know which finger she's gonna put up.
They definitely have been groomed, and I feel like
Yes.
America takes everything and defy everything was not so just had dirt on it when it came over here to America. Like
exactly. That's why a lot of countries ban American television and American culture from coming over there, because now you have these Muslim women who don't want to be clothed from head to toe. They don't want to be arranged in with holy matrimony. They're fighting their culture. You know what I'm saying? Because our country has taught them
And then
that
on
we're
top
right
of
and they're
that,
wrong.
yeah, and then on top of that, like in the matter of just like personal responsibility, like how much of it is going to be, oh, these people didn't acclimate to the partners that we want them to be, and how much of it is we just chose the wrong partner. Like that's not what that person truly wanted to be. That's not the person that they truly are. So we should just not be with them. Like I think that a lot of times, and I can only speak for Americans because I ain't, but but I think that a lot of times here in America, we're taught like this is the person that I want. So if I want you, then I'm gonna figure out how to, deal with, mold you into, or figure out how to change you into the person that I think that you should be for me, or that because I love you, you should step up and change for me. You know what I'm saying? And it's like if that's not, while I agree, compromise and like all of those things matter, if that's not naturally in the trajectory of where you're going as a person, you could be limiting your own growth trying to change yourself to be with somebody. Do you get what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I think a lot of the times people just make decisions to be with the wrong damn people. Like that just ain't who you're supposed to be with. And the person you want in your life is just not who that person is. And that is okay. Go
Right.
find the person who you actually are yoked enough with to grow with.
I think the bigger problem than even finding the right person for these personal guys is they don't even have access to anyone. Average women in America are not looking at the average men, and if they do, they want these men to prove all this to them and run through these hoops, and they're definitely not going to get any extra treatment from these women. So my thing is, what do you tell the guy who's 38, who wants a kid, who got an IT job making $70K, $75K, little overweight, 5'8", not born in the genetic lottery, and he doesn't have the game or anything like that. He doesn't have a lot of access to women, and he's not in a big city like Atlanta or maybe DC. Where does he find his mate at? Because he said, I don't have access. I can't find anybody. When I go over there, the women are there. They're coming up to me. They're already culturally submissive to things and the stuff that I like. They're in shape. They're fit, and they're catering. Is already there? Where am I finding it here? What is my solution here? Give me a solution for right here in the United States.
I don't have a problem with international dating. I think that's not my focus here. I think that the problem is that you can find people who are for you and who are not for you in any country. So the focus is you need to find people who have the similar desires out of what they want from a relationship with you, whether it's here or in Timbuktu, Zimbabwe, New Zealand, Hong Kong, Vietnam.
If they want to date, I want to date in America though. Where do I find my mates? The average
I
woman
know the answer.
is not treating me well.
I got an answer. I got an answer. I got an answer because right here in this little bitty town that I'm from, I grew up with nerds. I grew up with people who were average or some even below average on the looks, and they have successful marriages because they went after someone who was equally yoked as them. No, they don't have a supermodel on their side, and some of them actually do. Some of them, a couple of them actually did end up with the 5'11" high yellow, sexy woman. But I think that just like women, you gotta ask to be.
No, it was just getting good.
Oh my God.
What we gotta ask, girl? What we gotta ask?
My bad. I got a call. My bad. You have to ask to be tailored into the type of person that attracts the person you're trying to manifest. So many times we have this checklist for the creator of what we want in our lives, but how many times do those men actually and women, but right now I'm answering your question, Ron. How many times have those men actually looked inside of themselves and said, what do I need to tailor about myself? Most of the times those type of men are saying, I'm successful, I don't have no baby mamas, I fit this criteria and that criteria, so now I deserve this specific type of woman.
And that's what I was saying about being groomed into thinking like there's men need to get out of thinking that being a provider is enough. And I think that there's a bit of extremism in that, because it goes back to that partner not teammate thing. It's like somehow our society has been conditioned that women want ballers, money, this, that, and the third, and men want fat asses and big titties. And that's great. Cool. Those aesthetics are fine. But it's like, if y'all aren't going to be compatible people to build something in the future, then what is any of that going to do? Like men can't say, oh, I got money and a whip and this, that, and the third, and so I'm the best dude on earth. Who are you as a person, though? Because there could be 10 different men who all don't got no baby mamas, who all don't got no kids, who all got a job, who all have a nice car, and 5 of them could be douchebags and 5 of them could be princes.
I'm dating in an age area where a lot of the women that I come across are coming in their back 9 to their 30s and they want kids, right? Mm-hmm. I've never once had a woman ask me or say, oh, I would like to be with you because I think you'll be a good father. Oh, I've seen how your dad interacts with you and those values, so that's going to make you a great father. Oh, let's go have a date somewhere around kids so I can see how you interact with kids to see if you're going to be a great father. Because it's not valued that I'm a great father in a relationship, even though this is what a woman wants the most.
Where are you, Ron? That is so unfortunate. Where are you located?
Right, because I'm like, what?
That's what I couldn't understand.
Yeah, there's never been brought up in conversations of me.
Seriously, where are you?
My dad's one of
He's in Houston.
100 black men every year. It's never been.
So, are you talking to women in strip clubs? Like, where are you meeting women?
No, these are educated, modern women. I've dated lawyers down the line. And,
you in H-time though.
What?
You in H-time. You in H-time.
This is where the most black single population is right now. So you can judge it, but this is why we're all hurting. I understand where you come from. If I'm in a smaller town and things of that nature, it is very easier to link up. I get that. But nobody's moving to Houston to go to Duport, Iowa. That ain't how it works. goes the other way around.
Societally, for some reason, our preferences are all screwed up. Like, we don't preference priority. At the end of the day, we preference aesthetics here in America, which is really shitty. And we think more so about the things that we should probably be more so worried about for ourselves. Like, you know, can they provide? Do they have money? Do they have a job? Da, 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 da. You really need to be more so worried about that for yourself, because at the end of the day, if they fall off the face of the earth tomorrow, you still got to be able to take care of yourself. So do you have a job? Do you have a car? Do you have your ish together? Okay, fine. Now, outside of that, what are the things that you need to emotionally fulfill you as a person? Like that, but the problem is the people who actually have those type of priorities on the top of their list are this big compared to the list of people who want money, cars, diamonds, fashions, bags, and they want to live in a rap video every day. It sucks. I can't tell you where to meet those women. I mean, because there are strippers that want to be, you know, housewives, and there are housewives that want to be whores. So, you know, like where do we tell you to meet these women? Because both of those women go to the same grocery store.
You know, Brian makes an excellent point, because I had this conversation earlier with a friend of mine on how global and how large hip hop is right now. Hip hop has become a global sensation for many, many years now, a couple of decades, right? And they equate, everybody all over the world equates black culture to hip hop. And we normalize black culture through hip hop. Gangster, chains, this,
brainwashing. Trust me, it works.
Yeah. And we have to start normalizing the engineer, the scientist, the doctor, you know, the IT guy. We got to normalize that conversation so we can pick better. Because when you're looking at the hip hop community and you're picking these thugs and these gangsters and you thinking it's a hip hop thing, you end up with bad fathers, irresponsible men, etc., complaining later that you're a baby mama because you picked the thug.
Knowing what you really want is Dwayne Wade.
We not gonna just do that to the women, though.
That's what I said. So hold on, y'all. I
get it, but you got to think about how many men do that too, though. Go ahead.
Because I said this earlier on a pre-record. It's normal for me. Me and my friends, we have both our parents. We have both sets of grandparents. They're still together, was together before we was born. That is normal to a lot of people. They just don't broadcast it. So they make you think that the minority of situations are the majority. All of these numbers are false. We have to get out of this because somebody told you it's fact. We have to get away from that. Start doing your own research. Get out here, open your eyes, have conversations. Stop being so closed-minded and judgmental. Now, we know when you first see somebody, the first thing you can go off is what you see. So you do have some portion of prejudgment. But you have to have an open mind and be able to talk to people. For the guys who Ron is talking about, where I think he's saying they don't have the opportunity or they don't have the game or the swag, you know what I'm saying? I feel like, again, it's where did you meet these girls that hurt you? I'm talking about the guys in the group, not Ron. But like, where did they meet the girls that hurt them? Because we see what go all the way back to Players Club. The guy in there, he was a nerd with his little glasses on. He had a little conversation.
Marvin.
Like you have to have a conversation somewhere. It starts with a conversation. You can't just write yourself off. And it sounds like those guys wrote themselves off. And it was like, let me go to another country because I deserve this look of woman.
They're dating the same women that they would get here. I'm telling you, they're not going over there and looking for supermodels. Black men are very, very in their own standard. If you're a black man and you drink brown liquor, you drink brown liquor. You drink, that's your drink. You ain't gonna switch up the vodka. So what does black men like? They like curves. They like black women. They like round the way girl from the hood. That's what they like. That's what they're going over there and getting. And they getting it in Colombia, Cuba, Africa. There are dark women over there. They're dating the same women they get over here. Every picture I see them posting there, I'd be like, dang, that woman even kind of looks like them, or it looks like a woman that they would easily date in America.
Well, I guess I would just say, well, they need to just stop talking about the American woman then and just say they want to spread their horizons and see what else the world has to offer.
Well, they're actually upset too, because how would you feel if you're an average man and you see an average woman and you feel that you and this woman in America are on the same page and she treats you like absolute ass? you're going to be like, wait a minute, we're on the same thing. We both make the same. We look the same. You just think that you're better than me. So he's going to be bitter towards that. And that's the frustration that I think you see that's coming out. Because he's like, you guys are claiming that you can't get there ain't no men out here. You're claiming that only 1 in 4 gets married. And here I am being a decent guy talking to an average woman. I'm not shooting for the stars. And instead of her making me a sandwich and being cool and giving me some peace, she's acting like she's better than me.
Yeah, so I'm not going to compare because y'all know how I feel about comparing, but let's switch gears. Let me say it like that. Because women are getting hurt as well, but they done got stuck by this man who done gave her a baby and he decided, I'm not dealing with this. I'm going to another country to not deal with this. But she has to still carry on with her life. She can't say I don't feel good. She can't say I don't have it. She has to make it happen. So it's like, we damned if we do, damned if we don't. If we have standards, then we're a problem. If we don't have standards, we're a problem. And it's not fair because then you slap us in the face once again and say, we're not leaving you. We're going over here to get the same women as you. You just ain't good enough.
And that's what hurts is as a brown American woman, it seems like historically we've never been enough for you guys. Like it has always been easier for you guys to take whatever bad apple you got, group us all together and chunk the deuces up to us. We've never been worth having empathy for. Like we can empathize with your struggles here and what you guys have to endure as American brown men. But when it comes to what brown American women have had to endure and why we are and have some of the character flaws that we could possess, instead of us being worth being loved through it, y'all throw us away. And most of us who are good women, we see you guys and we have empathy. And that's how most people end up getting stuck with the wrong man, because we feel like we can love you through it. We can love it or offer you. And so often, not a broad brush, but oftentimes you guys are really, really quick to give up on us and say that we're not worth it.
I'd agree.
Yeah, and I want to say this too. And everybody that's in the room, coming in the room, hit those like buttons. We didn't say that early. We should have said that right out. Hit them like buttons, and you see any cash apps up there, be kind and generous with them cash apps. You know what I mean? But to answer, Madam Oracle, I actually addressed that earlier. I said, women are tired of, they believe in family and husbands and children. And here come one guy, he come drop a baby in their lap. They got all the faith in the world. He up and leave. Okay, so they give another guy a shot. He drop a baby in their lap. He up and leave. And before you know it, they got 5 children, 4 different daddies. Now they're stigmatized, and now they can't catch a break. But they were trying to believe in family. Yeah, you heard me, right?
I heard you rep for us.
Yep.
So my question is, when are women going to start being as quick to leave a man that they realize is not as good for them as men are to realize? Because men leave a lot of women for superficial ass standards, but I feel like if women were quicker to leave men for the real issues.
Yeah, that's why I asked that question, because it's harder for us. Because when Ron was lifting off the characteristics, I was like, I'm not nobody's America's Next Top Model. I know that. However, I don't wear makeup, never wear makeup a day in my life. My hair is real. It grew out of my scalp. My parents are married together, been married since before I was born. Like, I feel like there are women that have the qualities, but...
You got the qualities, but you don't have, we talked about this earlier, you don't have the effort. You're focused on your business and things of that nature, like a lot of other black women are.
I'm speaking for the people who have me that do want the love.
No, most of them like you, they don't want the love. They want to work. They want to be boss women. They want to work on their stuff.
So let me say it correctly then, because I do want the love.
Hold on.
However, I don't want to waste the time to be hurt looking for the love anymore. I did that already.
But I have a question. Why is it that it's one or the other when it comes to women, when it comes to relationship versus priority, but men are expected to do that? Men are expected to go out, provide, boss up, make money, and come home and be a great husband and father. Why can't women go out, be a boss ass bitch, run companies, and then come home and be a great ass wife and mother?
They can do it. They get bad at it.
No, I'm cool with it. It's just the men.
They're not good at it. I don't know why.
It's like the men really don't like that for real, though. It seemed like that intimidates the men. Like, I don't have time to go on a date with you tonight. I'm handling business. I have to do such and such and so and so. I'm a single mother. So my daughter comes first before anything. So I'm dealing with my daughter, then I'm dealing with my business. And then if you can come kick it with me and we can spend some time, cool. But they don't want to wait around for somebody like me.
But men say the same thing to women,
when there's somebody out here who has nothing to do but sit and wait on a phone call.
Exactly. Like, men are just as bad at it as women. The problem is that women are expected to be the submissive to the men doing it.
We're created different,
we
Brian.
complain all the time about men doing the same thing.
Yeah, but Brian, we're created different. That's why you always hear saying, men are from Mars, women are from Venus. We created different. We think different. You know what I mean? It's like with women, most women, if you're a decent woman and you were raised right, your vagina is connected to your heart. You hear most women say that. Okay, 100%. Men, we can just go out here and sling it and don't feel nothing. We smash anything and don't feel nothing. But a woman, her heart is connected to her vagina. So when she's giving her heart to a dude and she want to build a family, she's serious about that. And we just smash it.
So I'd rather not waste the time.
That's why I say, like, women need to be
just as serious as I am
about the valid reason. Yeah, 100%. Because I think
I really wish Ron was a little darker so I could connect him and TheeEnicole.
No, Ron is good.
So dead. I am so dead. Y'all want to switch gears? Let's switch gears. So Ron.
No, we already established that I'm a colorist.
Oh, we have.
They said I was a colorist on Colorful Convo. Yes, shameless plug. Make sure y'all tune into Colorful Convo on Wednesday. But they established over there across the street that I was a colorist.
Not a colorist. Wait a minute. What?
And Ron said I ain't ready for love. So let's keep it moving.
So y'all a mess. Not being ready for love, E.
Because he. I think that I misarticulated, but I do still stand on what I stand on, which is I'm just focused on my business and my goals and everything. And so I don't want to waste my time and put things on a back burner, because when I'm in love with somebody, I love them. I put them before myself. That's how I was it may be weird to say, but I told you I was raised by a wife. So I watched my mother be a wife to my father. So when I love somebody, I kind of, I automatically step into that role. I can't do that right now if you ain't serious. Why would I continue to put myself and my dreams on the back burner and you ain't really serious?
Ron, come back, my bad.
Right.
No, his thing got disconnected. He'll probably be back.
Okay.
But just because that's what you're used to and that's what you were raised in, do you think that that's what, like, you're ultimately supposed to be doing? Like just because you're used to putting your goals and your dreams aside to stand by a man's side, like, is that what's conducive to your overall goal? You're in a position where you're bossing up, you're making money, you out here doing things and making moves and shaking and doing all the things, but you also want to have love at some point, I'm assuming, which is why we're all here, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So so is it that you're more focused on the boss moves than you are the relationship, or is it that you're not willing to put the effort to balance the two out for yourself?
No. So I said this on maybe like the second episode of New School versus Old School. Right now, to be honest and transparent, right now I'm scared.
I got you.
I'm scared because when I love somebody, I love somebody. Even in my relationships with friends, if you my friend, I rock with you 1,000% or 0%. So when I'm in love with somebody, I don't believe in 50-50. I actually have a song called 50-50. I don't believe in 50-50. Give 100 or nothing. So it's not that many people who have the same values and thoughts as me. So I just rather not play with it.
Okay. So
and
I believe that there's a. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Brian. It's just that I said this, many times. I said this in a recent YouTube short I did. Everybody go over to Magnetic Repellent, subscribe to that channel. That's my channel on YouTube. But what I said in a recent short, I said the reason why most relationships fail, the number one reason, is because people come in looking for what they can get as opposed to what they can give.
Yeah.
And if both people look for what they can give and they're trying to please one another, they can grow together and you won't have these kind of issues. But it's always a situation where somebody's looking to give and somebody's looking to get.
Yeah. And as a giver, you know, like, don't get me wrong, like, you know, when you get in a bad situation and you hurt, you be like, fuck everybody. But that's not who I am. So I can't change who I am and no longer be a giver or a you know, a lover. Like, that's who I am. You know,
but is there a way to restructure that for yourself? Not necessarily
I don't
change it completely, or is there a way to do it in a way that's conducive to your business and your love life? Because you don't want to sit around until you 50 and you know you a billionaire and you by yourself and like, damn, I wish I would have did so and so and so.
But y'all know I ain't just sitting around now.
I know you're not sitting there just dry. You know what I'm saying? I know it ain't. You know, I know it ain't bad. You know what I'm saying? Like.
She ain't dry, right?
Y'all know I ain't dry around here.
I know it ain't dry right now. You know, I know it ain't bad. But I'm just saying, like, is there a way for you to put 100% into your business and into a relationship? Now, mind you, the caveat to that is finding someone, a companion and a partner who is willing and prioritizing doing the same, because I think it's less about your partner being willing to do that with you and that being their priority as well, so it doesn't even have to be a conversation.
And you know what it is, Brian, too, and you're right, we can do both. The problem that people have is a lot of people, men and women alike, they have a problem when they come home to leaving that cape at the door. Leave your cape at the door. Just come in and be a spouse, be a partner, you know, be soft with each other. Let's plan. Let's watch a movie together. But a lot of people, when they come in, they can't leave that cape at the door with the S on it, and they come home raising hell like they did at the office. I know a lot of people who are married to military men, and these guys are retired, 20 years military, and they run their house like the military. Motherfucker, you're not in the army no more. You retired. Cut the bullshit. You know what I mean?
I like when men hold other men accountable. I feel free to hold other women accountable. So I will say this, as a working woman, it's also hard sometimes, especially if you work in management, right? To go from that masculine energy straight into that feminine energy when you walk through the door. Because for 8 to 12 hours, you've been leadership. You've been leader of men. So now when you come home, it is an adjustment that is complicated to take that off and then be led by a man, especially if you don't agree with that nigga at the time.
I'm dead.
And that's what I was saying. Like, it's not that I don't want to, but it's like, me, I'm slow motion. I'm really old school for real. You know what I'm saying? So the next person I be with, I really want to be with my best friend. And that takes time, right? So most of these guys, they don't have the patience for that. Like, they want it, and they're attracted, and but
they want it to happen now.
They feel like I don't give enough effort because I have things to do. When they can go over to Shaquisha house, who has nothing to do but roll them a blunt.
And see, that's the thing, though. Like that, but see, that's also one of the things that I think men need to realize, that
equal opportunity rollers over here.
Submission is earned. Like, vulnerability is earned. Like, it's not something that's just easily given, unless that's all you have to give is submission. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but once again, you need to recognize what is conducive for your own trajectory and stop trying to force people to be what you want them to be, and go find who wants to be what you want. Exactly. I'm just saying. Like, go find a bitch that want to sit there and roll you blunts all day and damn fry fish, and you know, I don't know if Becky can fry fish, but I'm just saying, like, go to.
She can make a mean chicken nugget.
She can make a mean chicken salad. She can do a great chicken salad. Absolutely. She can do a great tuna fish. Lovely.
And you know, Madam Oracle, I feel your pain in what you were saying about being in management 10 to 12 hours a day, because it is hard to turn off. This is why you have to practice that. You have to practice that, because I know military guys, you can't come in the house bouncing quarters off mattresses like in the military. You can't come in there with white gloves, rubbing your finger across the dresser looking for dust. This is not the Army. This is not the Marines. This is a wife and kids and a family. You can't run it the same way. So you gotta know when to turn that stuff off.
Yeah,
that's it.
And you also have to find a partner who's not intimidated by your boss ass energy. Also, you have to find a man who's willing to recognize and be like, oh, okay, she's a woman doing her thing. Like, at the end of the day, yes, she is this and she is all of those things. She is every woman, and you know, all of the women are in her, Shaka Khan. But like, just like a man is gonna take a minute to go from being, you know, captain sergeant and then, you know, boss dude, CEO in charge, to coming home and being, you know, the soft guy that comes home, holds his woman, do the kiss on the cheek, all of that. It's gonna take the same thing. Like you gotta realize, like, it's give and take. Like as understanding as you expect her to be for you when you come home, you gotta expect that from her too, because she bossing up just like you. Like, you can't expect something that you're not willing to reciprocate.
And I saw Big Pressure say that a good man or a strong man ain't got time for all that, when I was saying that men don't have empathy and patience or see us worthy of loving through. That's what you were saying, Brian, and I agree. So if I can just ask one thing from all listening brown American men, those with passports and those with criminal backgrounds, just let's please try to, if you're looking for that woman and you would like to have her be homegrown, a woman whom you could take overseas with you because she understands your natural homegrown roots, and you guys can build overseas because this American system is what you're running from. Have more empathy, have more patience, see her as worth it, because you have American roots. And so even if you go and find that overseas woman, she'll produce children for you. Your children just may so happen to want to come to something they've never had, which is your American roots. And you would want the man that finds your daughter as a good thing to have a little empathy for her, to have a little patience with her. Okay, y'all gotta quit giving up on us so easily. Okay, love us through.
Especially if y'all want women to hold y'all ass down, ride for y'all, give y'all chance after chance, make mistakes, take you back when you cheat, hold you down when you lose your job, babysit your badass kids that you got from evil bitches cross town. Like, y'all really be wanting women to hold you down through a lot of shit. No, like dead ass. Like dead ass. Men be wanting women to hold them down, hold them down through a lot of shit that they would not be willing to blink an eye for a woman for.
And women do it.
Like, ask any man who they gonna deal with some girl with 5 baby daddies, badass kids. Like, ain't no man out here dealing with baby.
I know I'm not.
I found.
So why do y'all expect women to
Nicole,
deal with Jerome
mute your mic.
Them?
Yeah.
Please quit hollering at my niece on the live.
Yeah, Nicole, mute your mic.
I don't have to mute because we are wrapping this thing up.
I was trying to talk over and just like scoot on through there.
I couldn't find my brush, honey. I had to find my brush.
I was trying to cover for you, sis. I was trying.
This was a very, very good conversation, though. Like, and I started to get upset. That's why but I feel like this need to be a part 2.
It does.
It was very dynamic.
Yeah.
It was very insightful, because I feel like we do need to see other people's perspectives, because it's a reason for the breakdown. It's a reason for the breakdown.
Yeah.
On both sides. So,
and I'm not on nobody's side, because I don't adhere to gender norms. I don't believe in gender norms. So I'm really like, my smoke is for everybody, men, women, and everybody in between. All y'all got it. We all need to get our shit together, one way or the other.
But you made some great points tonight, Brian. You really did.
Definitely, because but it goes right along with what I said when I said we need to stop with the whole generalization and grouping of people. We need to focus on things as an individual type of basis. Just because this white woman hurt you doesn't mean everybody's like that. Just because this light-skinned man hurt you doesn't mean everybody's like that. So before we get out of here, I want everybody in the chat to understand there are some very awesome content creators in the building right now. My co-host beside me, Magnetic Repellent, make sure that y'all go check him out. Below me, my sister, Madam Oracle, great content creator, great things to say. And our guest today, Brian, he's amazing. He has a whole podcast on multiple platforms, does awesome interviews, great content. Ron is back. He's awesome, but we about to get out of here now.
Okay.
I really appreciate Ron coming through because he gave us the insight to the Passport Brothers, because this is a new phenomenon that I knew nothing about. So, like, women, we do need to be mindful about what's going on around us, because there is a lot of complaints going on. It's growing rapidly. I mean, this group went from like 5,000 to 15 that quick. It'll be 25K in a minute. It's growing.
But thank you, Ron, for clearing things
fast for them. They don't even know what to do with the group. It's growing so fast.
I could send you on 3 dates right now in your area, Ron. I got 3 ready ones. I don't know where you've been.
That's a mover and shaker right there. I like her. She don't play no games with nobody. She said, "You know what? I got you. Hold on 1 second. Let me call Keisha."
That's big sis right there. Hey. So you guys, please follow everybody that's on this panel right now. There are also great content creators in the chat. TT, CJ. It's a lot of people. It's too many people for the chat today for me to go through because it was really jumping. Make sure that you guys come back next week, same time, same place. Wednesday is Colorful Convo. And we do have a new show that we're about to premiere the commercial for again. So Brian, big sis, could y'all please stay behind after the show? And Ron, thanks again for coming to mess with our crazy asses over here. You know, we like to learn and be crazy at the same time. It's family to me. Thank y'all.
Ron, you stay too, because I'm telling you, I got you.
She said no for real. Like, Keisha is on the line.
I'm here then.
All right, y'all. We'll see y'all next week.
I'm working. You can't stop this shit. I can't. I ain't. They can't stop this shit.
Why they think I fall for just anything? Why would I tell lies? True Scorpio, true things. I don't see how people play with power like it ain't no rules. I'm not playing with you, ain't got time for it. Nice as hell, but watch it flip. Now with that shit I can't give a damn that you ain't gave for me. I don't know why they think I'll walk away. I don't know why they think I'm gon' go away. I'm gon' do me. I can stay strong, baby. I'm gon' do me. Why you think you can play games with the best? I come through big pressure, you stress.